Okay, guys, so we're moving over to the Punch newspaper that's got the screaming headlines, and it's quite an interesting one. 2027 presidency, PDP sees Southern candidate as a game changer. It only took an Atiku to leave the party for all of these to start coming out. Well, maybe it has always been the Atiku factor that has been stopping the PDP from taking this kind of decision. It's bold, though, it's very bold. Anyways, let's see what other headlines that would trickle our fancy or tickle our fancy. On the punch just above the mast, APC expands National Assembly control with 7 new PDP defectors. So PDP are still moving over to the APC. To what end? Reps approve $347 million loan for Lagos Calabar Highway and others. All right. There's an interesting headlines there for you. Still on the Punch newspaper this morning. Tariff battle escalates. Indeed. Discos rejects review talks with states. 36 states energy commissioners to meet federal government as tariff showdown worsens. Well, this whole chaos started from Enugu State. Enugu State had directed Main Power, which is the uh, the power distribution company in the southeast, and as soon as that happened, they cut it down from 209 to 160. As soon as that happened, other states have started saying, "Oh well, here we go." So it means that the discos in their locations have been the ones really, eating them up or maybe cheating them, and so everybody is asking that the discos now reduce the price or renegotiate the price, so to speak. So Enugu has caused this there. I hope that everybody gets their own fair share of this whole bite in the national cake. Remember that energy is still being subsidized. Energy is still being subsidized by the government, and if you look at the calculation that the Enugu Electricity Distribution Company did, they said that given the ratio of government's satisfaction in terms of revenue and distribution, in terms of the subsidy that is still on electricity, the price that the company is giving the consumers are actually higher than what it should be. So from 209, it was reduced all the way to 160 per kilowatt. And so it goes that from August 1 in Enugu State, if you're living in Enugu State, would have a reduced amount going forward. That is the beauty of regulatory agencies or having your state regulatory authority having to basically control the distribution and of course managed power distribution in the state. It's a welcome development. I hope this also doesn't move the government or push the government to start saying that, look, well, we cannot sustain this and then start thinking of removing subsidy completely. Sanwo-Olu rallies governors Elumelu for 500 billion naira Lagos food initiative. Bauchi governor minister raised the alarm over fake news threat. Bauchi governor minister raised the alarm over fake news threat. Ogun residents protest after total crash kills 4 pupils. This is a sad story. Ogun residents protests after fatal crash kills 4 people. That's still on the Punch newspaper. Defection drama. APC PDP exchange barbs over Adeleke's U-turn. Okay, that's an interesting development there for you. We're moving now over to the Tribune newspaper. On the Tribune this morning, I am vindicated, says Olasanya as court strikes out loan trial. Court also frees Otudeko as EFCC withdraws fraud charges. CSOs withdraw petition against NMDPRA boss, tender apology. Members back Adeleke, residents vowed to stick with him. Oshun Assembly members back Adeleke, residents vowed to stick with him. Find out the details there on the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. And still on the new Tribune newspaper, just below the mass is a screaming headline there. APC moves neck meeting to presidential villa. Whoever emerges as our chairman will promote party interests, says Uzodimma. PDP leaders drum reconciliation, issue warnings ahead of neck meeting. We can resolve our differences, Saraki. Ghana seeks support for Southern candidate. is an interesting development. Okay, so let's look at what's going on with this Tribune newspaper. And APC is moving really fast, and I'm wondering why they moved it to the presidential villa. So many persons have said the reason why they are moving their meeting to the presidential villa is because of what happened in Northeast. The Northeast Caucus meeting happened a few weeks back, and it's dovetailed into fisticuffs. And owing to the way and manner that the vice president was not mentioned when President Bola Tinubu was mentioned. So they felt it was an affront on them to tell them that their own person, who is the vice president, Shatima, is not going to be the one to deputize the president in 2027. So it's still left to be seen. Fingers crossed. Still on the Tribune newspaper this morning, Ogun Rivers top death row inmates lists 3,833 inmates on death row. Okay, that's a troubling number. Ogun and Rivers looks like some of the deadliest people live in those places. Well, that's not conclusive though. Don't take my word for it. But I mean, given by what we have just heard in that headline, it's believable. Organ transplantation surgeons revive dead hearts for infant transplant. Looks like a very good breakthrough. EU unveils 1.5 million euro support for victims of Benue crisis and others. Four more PDP senators defect to APC as party Senate majority grows to 70. Okay. Four more PDP senators defect to APC as party Senate majority grows to 70. Okay, pretty interesting. APC is still in it, still in the numbers. There are 109 senators, and then now we have 70 for one particular political party. So they have the majority, yes. So um, it's left to be seen what would happen in the election. So many people, persons have said that under Goodluck Jonathan lost the election, even with everybody, being in one political party or more people being in one particular political party. So it's all fingers crossed. Moving now over Trust newspaper on the Daily Trust. Defections. APC inches towards two-thirds majority in Senate. APC inches towards two-thirds majority in Senate. NMPCL reduces fuel price to 890 per liter. Well, I'm not sure it is the same thing everywhere. I'm not sure it is the same thing everywhere because 890 would be on papers, but physically it would be 910, 920. I have never seen in time that we have people what is stated in the papers as what's reality on ground. It has always been one issue or another, or one problem or another, or one addition, one small 10 naira there, 15 naira there. I've really never seen. Now we have here NNPC reduces price to 890. If I move out right now to an NNPC filling station, I am 100% sure I am not going to get this at fuel price at 890. It's going to be somewhere around past 900 really. And I'm going to try today. I'm going to go out today, and then I'll bring you up to speed when anything develops. Zamfara residents protests over insecurity. Zamfara residents protest over insecurity. It's just insecurity o'clock across Nigeria. Nentawe tipped to chair APC. Who is Nentawe? And why have they moved the next meeting of APC to the presidential villa? Why have they done so? Anyways, fingers crossed, we'll see what happens afterwards. Still on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning, federal government to spend $747 million on coastal highway as reps approve fresh loans. Cholera claims 13 lives in Niger. Or is it Niger now? Well, Niger. Cholera claims 13 lives in Niger. Troops kill many terrorists in Niger. Strike. Doctors give federal government till Saturday. Well, doctors have always wanted something a lot better for themselves. Not as much as their counterparts up there, but it's always the politicians that take the largest chunk. That's the reason why they would even kill to be there all the time. Anyways, now over to the Vanguard newspaper this morning. On the Vanguard, French media giant acquires multi-choice, gains full control of DSTV and GoTV. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. This is a huge business investment, and I don't know if it's a plus or a minus. I don't know. It's not adding up in my head. I'm not too sure about the fact that this is a good thing because you would have a lot of influence from French. I mean, if French controls our media, then it's also another way of controlling our narrative. You know, trying to push narratives that may not necessarily be ours. You know, so but for multi-choice to sell off it's stunning. It's stunning. Let's see how it goes, though. Let's see how it goes. Um, Jakonde's templates will save Nigeria and the media. Journalism icons, leaders, others. Tinubu, Chechitima, Osibajo, others, leaders attend APC NEC today. It is today, guys, at the presidential villa. It will be an interesting time. I hope it doesn't dovetail into fighting, because there are people who are going to be coming with some force, and if it doesn't go their way, there might be chaos. Um, Tinubu, Shatima, Osibajo, other leaders attend APC NEC today. Buhari's memory to be honored at meeting. We stand by our tariff order. Deemed tamper with generation costs, says EERC. 2027 coalition formidable are in theory, not sure-footed. Coalition formidable in theory, not sure-footed. All right, that's right above the mast on the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And now over to other headlines below the mast. 2027 coalition will back any of us that emerges ADC's candidate, says Amechi. Federal government policy is not working. Nigerians suffering, says ADC. Says Nigerians not feeling impact of savings from fuel subsidy removal. Amechi addresses supporters, vows to unseat Tinubu in 2027. I'm willing to work for any arrangement to secure Nigeria, says Lamido. Explains why he won't join coalition. ADC. We won't dignify them with response, says presidency. All right, all the details you can find on the uh, Vanguard newspaper this morning. And now over to Guardian. The Guardian has the screaming headlines. 43% spike in tax revenue spurs hope for fiscal recovery and deficit cuts. Allow Tinubu to complete second term. Ohaneze tells Obi. It's an interesting development, isn't it? I mean, Ohaneze should be the one in the forefront of pushing for the cause of Indibo, right? So I'm wondering which of the Ohanezes now, because it does look like there's a faction within the Ohanezes where one will be saying one thing and the other will be saying another thing. You know, now we're seeing that opportunity potentially for Peter Obi to become the president. In fact, for the very first time in a long while, under this democracy, this is a chance that an Igbo man has to become the president. I mean, in the South, we've had the South become president, the Southwest twice, in fact, and even the vice president from the Southwest. But it hasn't come from to the Igbos at all. The Igbo hasn't become the vice president under democratic settings. They haven't become the president, and this is the only chance that an Igbo man has. And the Ohanese is saying that we should allow him to finish off his tenure. Anyways, it's all fingers crossed. It's all fingers crossed. Lagos food economy hits 6.14 trillion naira from 6.5 trillion naira yearly, says Sanwo-Olu. 2027 Amechi rally supporters against election rigging in Rivers. Oh well, the election rigging in Rivers is one thing to be really interestingly worried about. So it's all fingers crossed. Ports, inefficiencies, corruption, spike, inflation, logistics costs by 40%. All right. Port inefficiencies, corruption, spike, inflation, logistic costs by 40%. Nigeria targets 100% local crude refining. All right. We hope that at the end of the day, whatever the decision is, it will be for the benefit of the greater good of the Nigerian public, because our leaders have always almost shown that their thoughts isn't with the Nigerian public. It's always been anything that is for their pockets as usual. I hope that that is not what the case is right now. Because as for me, as far as I'm concerned, given what we have, given what we know, with Naira for crude to Dangote, our field should not be doing anything more than 600. In fact, 500, in fact. Because we have the refinery in the country, we are not importing. We've cut out that cost of importation. So there isn't any reason why fuel should be going above 500. Well, hopefully in due course, we would have that happen. Still on the Guardian, police bust armed syndicate linked to Benue killings. And Vindicated says Onasanya as court strikes out loan controversy case. Tinubu APC leaders converge on Villa as NEC tackles crucial issues. BRICS alignments, tariff hike worsening Nigeria's economy. LCCI laments. BRICS alignment, tariff hike worsening Nigeria's economy. LCCI laments. Find out the details as much as you can on The Guardian this morning. And now over to This Day newspaper. On this day this morning, well, Bagudu, Tinubu's ambition is to see Nigeria refine all its crude oil in country. Tinubu's ambition is to see Nigeria refine all its crude oil in country. I'm sure that that does not in any way, you know, dovetail into costs in terms of the prices. If you have all your refining done in country, how does that affect the common man? Because we haven't seen that happen in a long while. We haven't seen that happen in a long while. Nigerians are still paying so exorbitant price for fuel, and so one would have thought that by now, after the Dangote refinery came on board, and Naira for crude is underway, is live. By now, we should be doing something around the neighborhood of 500 to 600 per liter, but that is not said to be done, and I wonder why. I wonder why. So, if in any way that the in-country refining 100% will not better the life or will not be cost effective for the common man on the street, then it should even we should even bother about it. All right. Still on the This Day newspaper, World Bank Development Partners, OK Nigeria's 90,000 kilometers fiber optic network drive. Damagom PDP's problems self-inflicted. Defectors should return or leave in peace. We won't tolerate indiscipline. Defectors left because of ambitions, says Bala Mohammed. We will fix party leaving. We will fix party living nomadic and selfish. Our party will rise again, says Olawepo Hashim. All right, that's from the PDP. Damagom, PDP's problems self-inflicted. Defectors should return or leave in peace. All right, still on the This Day newspaper this morning, another screaming headlines. Federal government's half-year tax revenues jump 43% to 14.27 trillion naira. Edun rebased GDP quarter one growth estimates signs of nation's economic resilience and renewed momentum. LCCI rebasing hasn't changed harsh economic reality. Analysts with sluggish GDP growth attaining $1 trillion economy a tall order. All right. This is an interesting development. Well, again, rebasing Nigeria's economy, we've done that before. It hasn't shown to be something that is okay for the common man to be excited about. I mean, if the common man is not excited about it and it's not going to any difference for them, then it really makes no sense as far as these so-called rebasing conversation is about. Still on the daily, now we're moving over to the Daily Independence. MPC experts back hold decision as inflation FX risk loom large. Supreme Court has settled our leadership question, says Labour Party, says Darty, entitled to his opinion, can associate freely. Okay. It looks like an interesting development out of Labour Party. Things are beginning to change. It does look. The meeting, without Obi and Dati and the one and only Abure is quite shocking. It's quite shocking, given how Abure has been, talking and talking and saying all sorts of things. You would think that he has something to do, or maybe he wants to subvert the system or sell out, given the meeting he also had with Wike. Still on the Daily Independent, subversion of people's will could lead to crisis, says ADC, says no end in sight to Nigerians suffering under APC. I mean, ADC, I don't know if you've noticed, ADC has been in the news daily. Like, there's no day you wouldn't see something from the ADC, and that's how really to dominate the space. Let's see what happens afterwards. All right, still on the Daily Independent newspaper. IDPs in Benue lacking relief materials. EU raises the alarm. Urges action against malnutrition in Northeast and Northwest. Federal government elevates flood challenges in Nigeria as national security. Jokonde Memorial Lecture, stakeholders harp on media role in creating national consciousness. Sanwo-Olu launches produce for Lagos 500 billion naira off-take guarantee fund. All right, that's an interesting development. Coalition won't work. Members are nomadic politicians, says the PDP. Warns members against romancing with ADC. Coalition won't work. Members are nomadic politicians, says the PDP. Warns members against romancing with ADC. APC strengthens Senate majority as four lawmakers join party. APC strengthens Senate majority as four lawmakers join party. I think the two of the lawmakers are actually from Akwa Ibom. That is Senate President's state. So it's understandable that he's using every paraphernalia to woo them in. Just after he was able to woo the one and only Governor Umoen of Akwa Ibom into the APC. So one would have thought that he also pressed all the buttons in order to get him on board. Anyways, it's all an interesting developments out there. I want to really appreciate every one of you for joining in this morning. Remember, we'll be doing this every single morning, every single day. There is no day that will be missed. I promise you that. It will be 7:30 all the way till it's done. And in due course, we would have you contribute on the show, we would have you call in, have your say on any of the headlines, as the case may be. Trust us to bring you up to speed with anything that is developing and or that develops wherever you are on whatever you do. I want to appreciate you. See you on the other side. Remember, we're back at 2 p.m. this afternoon. It's going to be quite an interesting discourse because we're going to be going local with the topical issues